I am a fucking architect. God damn it, I'm just stuck selling shit furniture because someone won't get off their back fucking ass and help me.
Following the release and major success of the Backrooms, I left the theater blown away by how well this adaptation of an image is translated into a movie. After going online and seeing the vast discussions and range of opinions regarding the film, I asked myself, why? Why are the Backrooms so captivating? What drew in so many people, and what can we as the audience take away from the movie? I'm going to try my best to answer these and more, so stick around because I have something to say and I want your input. My girlfriend and I saw this film in a smaller, local theater that honestly resembled the Backrooms a lot. Just look at it. Going to the bathroom, I felt like I was there. Honestly, very immersive. While I'm sure you've watched this movie since you clicked on this video, you should try seeing it in a smaller theater like I did to maximize the feeling of a liminal space, because it's definitely worth it. I want to get this out of the way because I see a lot of love for this movie, just as much as I see hate or misunderstanding for it. I have friends who've enjoyed it and those who didn't. What I take from this personally is that the film's marketing is very well done. Many people who went to see it may not have seen Kane's original series on YouTube and went into theaters with a set of expectations that the movie was never going to achieve. They were never going to be 1,000 levels, including Shrek, McDonald's, or Safe Rooms. And while the Backrooms is so popular, it's hard to deny that a lot of slop surrounds it. Like the bacteria spreading, there's slop following right behind it. I don't want to sound cynical towards these fans. However, I think the horror of the Backrooms is stripped away once you add safe levels or Hello Kitty levels. As a liminal space, the Backrooms takes what many of us are familiar with and puts us in an environment that feels alien. Office buildings without people or furniture, your own house with an interior upside down. I think if you wanted to write a level of the Backrooms, including something that's personal to you, it makes sense, given that it's what the series is about. However, I think there's a tasteful way to do this. Another criticism I hear thrown at the movie is the lack of plot or character growth, which to me it's like, have you watched the movie? I feel like a large amount of people coming into it only experience the Backrooms through TikTok. But we're gonna move on from that. In the movie, Clark owns a furniture shop that clearly isn't doing well. We gather hints through therapy sessions on how he lost his wife and that he lives in the store, watching TV and drinking bourbon in the very beds he sells. Clark's down on his luck and struggling financially, with dreams of being an architect taking the back seat as he struggles to stay afloat. The tension he lives through is relatable to Gen Z becoming adults. Many of us won't be homeowners for a long time, with everything becoming more expensive every day. His therapist, Mary, is also struggling with suppressed trauma. Her mom had paranoid schizophrenia, deeply impacting her life as she was able to see her mom less and less, eventually being put in a mental institution. The isolation Mary faced from living with and without her mom would go on to make her lonely, like Clark, and seek further answers in the Backrooms. Upon finding an opening in his basement leading him into the Backrooms, Clark doesn't believe his eyes. The seemingly infinite amount of space seen here enhances the feelings of loneliness and isolation. This movie takes place in the 90s, however, the messaging feels as if not more, relevant to today. In an age where we're more connected now than ever before, there's a paradox where many of us are just as isolated. The Backrooms, with its endless empty corridors and lack of other people, embody this feeling. In a vast, impersonal space where he's utterly alone, Clark is forced to confront his thoughts the longer he stays. This resonates with his fears of being a small, insignificant cog in the machine of capitalism. The promise of wealth with effort is a long-dead American dream. Backrooms confronts our existential dread and mundane horror of corporate and consumer culture. The aesthetic of the Backrooms is directly inspired from an environment that many of us will or have worked in our lives: office buildings. The Backrooms takes away our familiarity with the known, and it's a place that doesn't follow rules set out by our own world. With winding halls, rooms that serve no purpose to us, and no clear exit, this lack of control mirrors anxieties of the unknown, the most primal fear for us. Imagine you are going about your life with no knowledge of the Backrooms, and suddenly you no clip. You lose all agency and everything you know. Nothing here makes sense despite being familiar to you. The seemingly living things that do exist within the Backrooms are not friendly. It's questionable regarding the nature of still lifes. As seen in Kane's series and the movie, they are aggressive until Clark is seen with them in the dinner scene. They somehow seem to be made of stuffing that Clark managed to live off of for weeks. In the YouTube series, the only instance we see a still life is when is chased by one. The only other entity seems to be the bacteria or Pirate Clark. The only company you're given here is hostile to you. In an extreme example, it's comparable to how you'd be treated at some point in your life. I mean, I hope no one chases you and tries to kill you, but while you find yourself stuck in capitalism, you face hostility from others, and the Backrooms mirrors that. The company to first discover the Backrooms in Kane's YouTube series markets and uses the space for storage and housing. Likely to get more funds to explore the complex, this ironically enough ties into today's economic landscape in America. The housing crisis of 2008, even today's housing is a major issue, and so is space as the population grows. You may think to yourself, this could work. Having a dimensional infinite storage unit and housing sounds like a dream in the world we live in. However, I don't think it's worth losing your sanity or dying to creatures within the walls of the complex. The Backroom seems to morph and change with the person experiencing it. Pirate Clark being a clear reflection into Clark's inner demons, his worst showing through this entity. His frustrations, his aggression turned to his wife that eventually drove her away, and his need to be right. Pirate Clark is molded by his nature. When Mary confronts him in the dinner scene, upon realizing his errors, Pirate Clark bites into Clark, killing him. It's clear that Pirate Clark wasn't aggressive to Clark for long enough for him to survive for weeks in the complex. Only when knowing that Clark was in the wrong, he kills him. Time is strange in the complex. It's obvious it passes by much faster than on the outside world, and this ties in with the themes of feeling stuck in the machine. Like having a job you hate or a strict routine, you become part of it and time flies. This is directly said in the movie, I'm pretty sure, but I like the description of still lifes only having existence left within the Backrooms, like a memory long forgotten. This place only remembers what others don't, and like a memory, distorts with time. I think Clark knew this too, as he basically said it. As he discovers his wrongs, his world around him crumbles and literally becomes too much to handle. If you didn't know, A24 signed a deal with Google, including millions of dollars to sell their likeness to AI. This is detrimental to the movie making process. AI for our generation is just another problem we face growing up, especially us artists, seeing as companies seek to replace as much human creativity with AI as possible. Kane himself referred to AI as a shame to creativity, and one way A24 plans to use AI is by replacing storyboard artists with okay, hey man. No, don't drink my water. That's for me. That's my water. Hey buddy, come on. Basically, one of the ways A24 plans on using AI is by replacing storyboard artists with generated images. And this leaves a lot of people without a job. It's kind of ironic to me that a company so well known with making independent and experimental type films is so quick to sell themselves out for a quick buck and become part of this AI bubble. I don't know if Kane will continue working with A24 since he's made his stance on AI very clear. He included an apartheid shirt during the film, which is pretty relevant to today. I think that was definitely an intentional decision. So I don't know if A24 is gonna cut ties with him or not, especially since they're kind of on the AI train now. But this is just a little bit of speculation. Also, Jeff Bezos claimed that we humans are consuming too much water for AI to use, which is like, dude, just tell us you're not human, dude. Like, you cannot make it more obvious. This and A24 signing off with Google puts such a gross taste in my mouth. I hate it. It's clear how the Backrooms mirrors many aspects of the world we live in. It can be a representation of how the working class slaves away, living paycheck to paycheck, watching time pass every day. Some lose their minds being forced to participate in this, feeling as though we have no agency. Clark felt this way before he ever entered the complex, and only felt it stronger the more he stayed. Mary, in the end of the film, seems to be a mystery. It's hard to tell if the company offed her, or if she is just left in the complex to become part of it, as we see the still life. This too represents being trapped in the system we're born into. I also noticed the pose she's left in seems to be comforting herself, with her arm caressing the other, looking down. It seems that in her last moments, she tried to make sense of it all, just to stay lost. Let me know what you guys think and your opinions on my theories. Again, I will reply to every comment and be glad to discuss what you thought of the video, so let me know.